Hello lovies, welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new, I'm Gina, aka Gina Louise. On this channel I like to do a lot of thrift flips, designer hacks, styling, thrifting, and today I'm going to show you how to take dad's t-shirt and mom's top that you do not wear and make a beautiful dress for a child. First, I took some Christmas wrapping paper that I don't use because on the other side of Christmas wrapping paper is a grid, a 1-inch grid, which is fantastic for making patterns. I grabbed this dress that Ava wears. It's new, it fits her perfect. So I took this dress so that I could create a pattern from it. So I am just marking the ends of everything and leaving about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch so I can have a seam allowance on this. Then I'm using my ruler so that I can make some really straight lines and attach them all. I'm only doing the top part. I'm not doing the skirt part because that's just going to be a very long rectangular tube that we're going to make, and we're going to just gather it and add it to the bodice. You can take this tutorial and you can make this for yourself as well. If you have a summer dress like this that fits you really well, you can do the same thing. Make a pattern from it. All you really need to do is make a pattern for the bodice. You don't have to do it for the bottom, and you'll see why. Now I'm just going to mark where the seam is that attaches the ruffle skirt part, and I am bringing the sides down to meet that, and then I'm just going to make a straight line across. And remember, I'm doing all of this with a seam allowance. Now that it's cut out, I just fold it in half and I make sure that it's even. It's symmetrical on both sides, and it's pretty even except for a little bit on the top there, and I'm just going to straighten that out. Now we're going to take that shirt and we're going to lay the bodice pattern on it, and we're going to cut it from front and back, 2 pieces. Now I'm going to turn the t-shirt inside out, and I'm going to lay my bodice pattern on top and pin it. I like using my river rocks to hold them down instead of pins. And then I like to use my rotary cutter. And if you're going to do that, make sure you're cutting on a mat underneath. I mean, I'm sure most people know that, but I don't know. Sometimes we have some new sewers and they don't realize that this is going to cut your table. So make sure you have a cutting mat underneath. My blade on my rotary cutter is not sharp. It really needs to be replaced. So I'm just using my scissors here to make sure that it's a clean cut and not pull where it's attached. There's a couple little strings that are still attached. Now I'm going to sew the shoulder straps closed here on top and the side seams. I had this cotton jersey top with this really cool print on it, and I was going to use this to create the dress, to embellish it. And then you'll see that I changed my mind as I was doing this. I ended up using this later on when I made Ava some more dresses, because after I made the first one, I was in love with it. She was in love with it. It was super soft and cozy, and it was so cute. But I didn't do it in this video, and instead of cutting it out, I left it in, and you'll see the changes. I have this shirt, and I was thinking at first I would cut out like a heart in this design here and then applique that onto the front of her dress. But then I saw that it has this like fleur-de-lis in a rhinestone, and I'm going to cut that out, and I think I'm going to put that at like the waist because I think she would really love all those sparkles in her dress. So here's that rhinestone fleur-de-lis, and I think after I put this dress together and the skirts on it, I'm going to put this at the waist. I think it will look so cute. Okay, let me get this over to my sewing machine. Here's me laying out the different colors and patterns and seeing if I like the way it looks. So here's the threads I picked. There's a light lavender, and then the bobbin was a deep purple. And here's the fleur-de-lis rhinestone piece. And here is a piece from the other cotton mom top. And I decide to take a piece of the mom top, which is the sleeve here, and I ironed some fusible web on the back, and I'm going to cut out a nice heart to put on the front of this. And now you're going to see the direction that I went. After I made this, my daughter had asked me, "Hey mom, where's the heart pattern you used to put the heart on Ava's dress?" And I was like, pattern? I don't use a pattern when I cut hearts. I'm just good at it. And I don't know why. I just fold the fabric in half and I do this little half heart cut, and I don't know, it usually just comes out a nice big full chunky heart. That leads me to a question. YouTube keeps bugging me to start a channel membership. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a you pay a monthly fee. It's usually a very low amount. It could be, I think, anywhere from $1 to $5. And you have access to private videos, patterns, because I do have patterns that I make, especially for my patches and stuff. And you get discount coupons. Mine would have discount coupons for my Etsy shop, like a big percentage off if you wanted to buy any of the things that I make. And like I just said, access to private videos, patterns. I don't know if I'm going to do it. I keep thinking about it because they keep bugging me to do it. What do you guys think about the channel memberships where you get access to private stuff? Also, you get badges for every time you leave a comment, like the top viewers who comment on everything. You get special badges and stuff. I don't know. I'm curious to know how you guys feel about channel memberships. And are you paying for any channel memberships for any other YouTube channels that you watch? Now I keep trying to figure out my design here because, like I said, I went down a different route, and I really love that rhinestone piece that I cut off the top, but like I said, I use it in a different project, and I'm just looking at different fabrics here that I'm going to upcycle eventually. Now I'm going to bring this over to my sewing machine, and with a straight stitch I'm going to sew this heart on the front of the body. I cut some 1-inch strips off of that mom top, and now I'm going to create a binding around the neck and the open sleeve. I'm starting it from the back of the bodice, so this way it's kind of covered in the back, just in case, you know, where it's going to meet. One end meets the other. It won't be so noticeable in the back. I'm adding it by placing it underneath on the wrong side first and just folding it over to the right side, and then I am going to bring it over to my sewing machine and I'm going to zigzag it so that it still has some stretch in it. I'm just going to pin it in place all the way around so it doesn't move while I'm sewing. And I just wanted to say this again. Remember, you can take this technique and make the same dress for yourself. So this is what we have. It looks nice and professional, but I'm going to do a little hand stitching at the top just to clean up the edge a little bit. So for the next part, I tried the bodice on Ava, and I measured from the bottom of the bodice to where Ava wanted her skirt to end, and I left a 1/2 inch for a seam allowance because I'm going to take advantage of the hem that is already on the bottom of the shirt. Hello lovies, this is the part of my video where I stop and I interrupt you and I say, do you like what you see so far? And if you do, give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of this content, consider subscribing to my channel. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything. And if you hit the little bell on the side, it will let you know and give you a notification when I put up a new video. Thanks. Just cut. I measured her and it was 12 inches that I needed, plus I left a 1/2 inch for seam allowance. So I cut this piece off the bottom of the shirt that I was using, and I'm going to go gather that. I'm going to pin right sides together here, leaving a little overlap here so I could connect the sides when they meet. And I'm just going to, as I sew, I'm going to keep gathering it, gathering all the way around. Cotton jersey may be a little difficult to gather without pinning it because of the stretch and placing it together and how it kind of sticks. So I recommend pinning it, but I did not want to pin it. I just sewed it without pinning it, and I just gathered it as I went along. I do that most of the time, but I really think you should actually pin it. And you will see the struggle is real. And now for the final results. I hope I've inspired you today to cut up some of your clothes and make some kid clothes.
Grandma's hands were rough but kind, worked the needle through the time. She taught me stitches and told me tales of patchwork hearts and how love prevails. Through scraps of fabric, memories bloom in her little kitchen's glowing room. Her voice a thread that spun me whole as I
Thanks for watching.
soul. Stitch by stitch I bring to life, colors dancing sharp as a knife. Grandma's lessons I still hold tight, creating love under soft moonlight. A button here seemed just so. With every piece I learned to grow. Life's not perfect, patterns to trace, but beauty hides in a patchwork place. She said, create when the world feels cold. Make something new from the tales you're told. Thread your dreams and stitch them tall. Even the smallest seams can stand it all. Stitch by stitch I bring to life, colors dancing sharp as a knife. Grandma's lessons I still hold tight, creating love under soft moonlight. Create when the world feels cold. Make something new from the tales you're told. Thread your dreams and stitch them tall. Even the smallest seams can stand it all. Stitch by stitch I bring to life.